Major takeaways from the video are based on the research available. If the well of knowledge furthers, we take responsibility for any misinformation spread and will provide better conclusive information in the pinned comment below. With that said, let's dive straight into the video. Welcome back, curious minds, to our journey through the darker corners of the human experience. Today, we're delving into a hidden realm that many inhabit but few understand: maladaptive daydreaming. Strap in, and let's venture into the shadows of our minds. What is maladaptive daydreaming? We all daydream. Perhaps you envision winning the lottery or concoct grand plans while stuck in traffic. But for some, daydreaming isn't a simple escape, it's an all-consuming, immersive experience that disrupts their reality. It can blur the lines between what is real and what is not. Imagine your brain as a TV set with hundreds of channels. Most of us flip through a few. But for those with maladaptive daydreaming, it's like binge watching an epic saga, complete with intricate plot twists and elaborate characters. This can be strenuous for them and the people around them. Sometimes it can be used as an escape from the drab and harsh reality we reside in. What exactly is maladaptive daydreaming? Dr. Eli Sommer coined the term in 2002, describing it as an extensive fantasy activity that replaces human interaction and disrupts daily life function. I don't feel like the wording used serves it enough justice. I describe it in my own terms to be simple: detachment from objective reality and immersion into one's own derived subjective reality in copious amounts, to the extent of disruption of day-to-day life for the affected individuals. As I mentioned earlier, this is a topic of dispute within the scientific community and has questionable research done into the topic. More than that, I'll provide a list of resources that I used in the making of this video. Picture this: you're reading a book, but instead of just imagining the story, you're living it. You're the hero, the villain, and everyone in between. Sounds intense, right? But what if this fantasy starts to overshadow your reality? That's the crux of maladaptive daydreaming. People who experience this can spend hours in their daydreams, creating intricate worlds and complex narratives. It's like their imagination is on steroids. But here's the twist: it can make reality a blur, where work, relationships, and even basic tasks become daunting shadows. It can devolve into a coping mechanism, especially in emotionally stressful scenarios. This is why it might require more urgency taken into the research on this topic. In the future, I hope better mechanisms can be put in place into dealing with this as a whole. A study in Frontiers in Psychiatry found that maladaptive daydreaming affects about 4% of adults. That might sound small, but when you consider the population, it's millions of people living in a constant dreamscape. It might affect entire sectors of the world economies due to decline in productivity levels of people in the workforce. It might furthermore contribute to lower grades and impact the education sector significantly, as affected learners might find it difficult to concentrate at times where it matters most. So why does this happen? There's no single answer. Some researchers suggest it's a coping mechanism for trauma or stress. Others believe it's linked to conditions like ADHD or OCD. I cannot provide further commentary on its origins until a definitive cause is proven through experimentation and analysis by experts in the field. Imagine your brain as a busy cafe. Most of us can handle the hustle and bustle, but if things get too overwhelming, we might retreat to a quiet corner. For some, that corner is a vivid daydream, an escape from the chaos. Before we dive into this section, let's lay some scientific groundwork first. You'll see why that's important later. A lot of confusing terminology may be used in this section. It's not a requirement to cram them so you can rest easy for now. Default Mode Network (DMN). The default mode network (DMN) is a group of brain regions that show increased activity when a person is at rest and not focused on the outside world. The DMN is involved in self-referential thoughts, including daydreaming and mind wandering. The primary regions involved in the DMN include medial prefrontal cortex (MPFC), posterior cingulate cortex (PCC), precuneus, angular gyrus, hippocampus. During daydreaming, these areas become more active, indicating a shift from external tasks to internal thoughts and reflections. These are some of the key findings on daydreams. 1. Increased DMN activity. A meta-analysis by Fox et al. 2015 found that the DMN is consistently more active during periods of daydreaming and mind wandering compared to when the brain is focused on external tasks. This increased activity suggests that daydreaming involves a switch from external to internal processing, allowing for self-reflection, future planning, and creativity. 2. Brain connectivity. Christoff et al. 2009 discovered that during daydreaming, there is enhanced connectivity between the DMN and executive control networks. This indicates that even though daydreaming may seem unproductive, it can involve complex cognitive processes. Daydreaming can potentially facilitate problem-solving and creative thinking by linking different cognitive networks. 3. Role in emotional regulation. Research by Andrews-Hanna et al. 2014 showed that daydreaming often involves autobiographical memories and future planning, which can play a role in emotional regulation and coping mechanisms. This connection highlights how daydreaming might help individuals process emotions and experiences, contributing to psychological well-being. 4. Maladaptive daydreaming and the DMN. A study by Sommer et al. 2016 on maladaptive daydreaming found that individuals with this condition exhibit abnormal DMN activity, leading to excessive and intrusive daydreams. Understanding the DMN's role in maladaptive daydreaming can help in developing therapeutic strategies to manage the condition. 5. Creative and productive aspects. A study by Baird et al. 2012 demonstrated that individuals who daydream frequently score higher on creativity tests, suggesting that daydreaming can enhance creative thinking. Daydreaming is not merely an idle activity, but can be a source of inspiration and innovation. The research on daydreaming in the brain reveals that daydreaming is a complex, multifaceted activity involving significant neural networks, primarily the default mode network. In individuals suffering from the maladaptive variant, it's basically everything else stated but on steroids. That's why it can tend to be associated with other disorders like ADHD. Is maladaptive daydreaming all bad? Not necessarily. Some find it fuels their creativity or helps them process emotions. The key is balance, ensuring it doesn't consume their reality. In fact, it was found that people who tend to daydream live more fulfilling and creative lives. If you think you're experiencing maladaptive daydreaming, seek help. Cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT) and mindfulness techniques can be effective. Remember, you're not alone. Communities and resources exist to offer support. That's unfortunately the end of the video. If you found this video enlightening, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the quirks of the human mind. If possible, can you provide your thoughts on the topic down in the comments below? And if there's anything I've missed or expressed in a distasteful manner, make sure to point it out. I love you guys so much for the chance you have given me on this platform. And with all that said, until next time, bye.